Welcome back, everyone, to the Marvel Snapcast podcast. I'm your host, Ken, aka the Super Tech God, the gentleman with every variant in the game.
Every variant?
Every variant. That's right. I'm here with also our wonderful co host, the one and only Mr. Epic Sax Man himself. It's Guess Gaming. How you doing, buddy?
Doing well, doing well. I have a headache like no other today because I have gone all week without coffee. I'm doing a tooth whitening treatment. So I've had no coffee this week, but today was the first day I forgot my caffeine pill. So it's the first day out of all of this that I haven't had any caffeine whatsoever, and I have felt the difference tremendously.
Wow.
So I'm dying.
Well, I mean, at least this time you're going to let our imaginary guests know that you're on stream right now. So how long have you been streaming for? 6 hours without caffeine? I'm proud of you guys.
Oh,
very proud of you.
Yeah. 5 hours in right now, but I didn't even notice until like 3 in the afternoon. I don't know about you, but it's just such a religious thing at this point for me, where like every day in the first 2 hours, there has to be a cup of coffee. It's just mandatory in my life.
Yeah.
And going into this tooth whitening treatment, which I desperately needed, I was like, okay, really? I'm going to have the caffeine. Oh, yeah. I mean, I'll have the before and after ready, but like,
that's fine. Yeah.
I'm going to go all the way through the weekend even and try to get to Monday. So that way it can be almost a full 2 weeks. And that's the ideal situation for this. But yeah, like it's just such a religious experience to have coffee, yet alone have that jolt and wake up. But when I noticed this afternoon at 3 in the afternoon that I still had not taken my caffeine pill, I was like, it's too late. Because otherwise I'd be streaming all night long because I can. Like, all right, let's go.
Yeah, I'm with you. I wake up, get my day started. I normally have coffee, whether it be cold or cold or hot. And that's it for the rest of the day. I don't drink any other coffee till then. And lunch. Well, I have breakfast around 12 o'clock. I should have my eggs. If I'm out and about seeing clients, then I don't eat anything until I get back home. But no, coffee is a necessity at some point. I did send KM Best the caffeine gum. So let's see how the energy gum. Let's see how it works out for him. Nonetheless, I'm sorry, you're gonna need those pills because we got a lot to talk about, my friend.
I know. Oh,
my goodness, this is just. We have a lot to talk about. I'm pumped. I'm excited. I love to see all the new things happening. The OTAs, as always. Let's go ahead and dive right into it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and show this off because, I expected this maybe a little bit sooner, but nonetheless, here we go. So kicking things off, we have Fenris Wolf going from a 2/3 to a 3/4. So that means you have to spend extra energy to play him as you normally would. And of course, you get additional power, which I think is well needed. This nerf buff to me seems pretty fair. I think this isn't a bad thing for Fenris. Now he could be shoved into a Surfer deck. You could run some Killmonger or even Negasonic Teenage Warhead, and Fenris is still in a good place. So him being a 3/4, I think, is a good thing for it, even though I know some people feel a different way about it. To me, I like the change. It needed to happen. Fenris has been doing a lot of damage, especially with that Cannonball Mercury stuff that we'll discuss shortly. Gas, how do you feel about Fenris?
I played Fenris right after the OTA in a Surfer deck. And I'll say confidently, it is a completely different card now. It is so insane how different it feels not being able to play this either on 2 or with something else on 5. Like in that shell in particular, because that's exactly what I did. I did a Destroy Surfer list. I was just playing it here on the live stream. Everyone in the chat saw. I immediately went into it and was like, here, let's put in Gladiator. Let's put in Fenris Wolf. Let's put in Negasonic Teenage Warhead. See if we can make something happen. And then what we'll call the Surfer staples. And the ability to have to brick turn 5 because of this, or the ability to like have to constantly needing to play catch up and hitting perfectly. It's so clunky right off the bat. And I think between this and Cannonball being dropped down 2 points, that those two changes will justify not needing to change Mercury, because a lot of people thought that Mercury was the bigger offender in this, and they said, no, this is not cool because Mercury shouldn't be able to move, or Mercury shouldn't be able to do something, or da da da. And look, I've tried to create solutions for it as well for Mercury, but the more we sat on it, I took Mercury to Infinite this season, and it did not include Cannonball. It was just an ongoing specialty Fallen One list, and it worked great. I didn't need Cannonball, though. And I think Mercury by itself is still a fine card.
Right.
And when you get rid of Fenris from the Mercury Cannonball package, it is a completely different package. And now having Fenris at 3, you're going to feel the difference 100%. And I'm hoping it's enough. I really do. I mean, it seemed incredibly clunky. So I'm hoping that these two changes out of that 3-card package is enough to really subside it, because it will back people off the list a little bit for a little while. But let's see how it is a month from now. And do they still need to revisit this in some other way?
Yeah, maybe Fenris, I think, is good now. I think this nerf buff to it is perfectly fine. I think it's in a good spot. I think the problem does become that people might not play it as much. And you can't even hope for Surge was the only thing you could think about to try to get it out early enough, or try to get it out on turn 5, like you said. We can no longer rely on Mr. Fantastic first steps. So I mean, only thing I can think about, maybe even Luna on turn 3, and then you can play this on turn 5 like you wanted to, or something else. Either way, it's a lot of work, but you know what?
Yeah,
it was needed. So on to the next card that heavily needed to be modified. I know I can't say the T word, so I'm not gonna say the T word, but it needs to be modified, and that was Cannonball. So Cannonball was a 5/8, you know what it did, and now it's a 5/6. And is it enough is the question, because to me, I think you're right. It with Mercury was the problem. 5/6 still in a lane, 6 power additional in a lane, and moving a big card out, I think it's still a very powerful card. I don't think Cannonball fans need to worry. I know I did put a tweet out. A lot of people were very sad about it. But Cannonball fans, you should be still okay, because I get it. 2 power is a lot. But 5/6 is nothing to sneeze at. So you know what? It needed to happen. I'm happy it got adjusted. This is a good change. How about you? Yes.
I think previously 5/8 Cannonball you could play in more decks without Mercury. I think 5/6 Cannonball absolutely needs Mercury now at this point. You have solidified Cannonball as always needing to be played with Mercury to justify that 6 power, because you're destroying something. 5/8 could just, knock a card out of the lane, and it's just really good stats, and you've justified your power in that sense. But going on the other direction, there's another reason that it's 5/6 and it needs Mercury, and it has to do with the other card right after it that got adjusted also.
Yes. And that is Juggernaut. Now, before we dive into Juggernaut, I wanted to say something. Do we now consider taking the card that we're going to review shortly, the Cosmic Ghost Rider, over Cannonball in certain decks? Without Mercury, of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Meta dependently, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, okay, perfect. I was, okay, good. All right, so Juggernaut now. Juggernaut, man. Juggernaut. The messages I got for Juggernaut. I got phone calls from my brother and my cousin as well about this Juggernaut change. They're not happy at all, guys. They are very, very upset, because both of them love to play Juggernaut. They love that type of game style, playing Juggernaut in the final turn. And I'm like, you guys can still play Juggernaut. And now you have even more power in the lane, guys. You just got to play Juggernaut with a 2 cost. I mean, or again, figure out how to have extra energy, so by turn 6, you can still play your Juggernaut, whatever else. I mean, that's all you have to think about. You just have to, change the way you play the last turn with Juggernaut if you're looking to play him with something else. So for me, Juggernaut needed the change. I really believe it needed it, because it was just wrecking a lot of things. As you know, a lot of last turn plays. And for it going to 4/5 puts it right in the perfect spot with Shang-Chi and Enchantress, right? Because those are some end of game cards that once played on that final turn, or even earlier, they have to be at least 4 or higher for what they do. and now Juggernaut is in line with those other awesome cards. So 4/5, I'm happy. I'm happy they gave him the additional 2 power, because they could have made him a 4/3, and we just had to eat that, right? Because his ability alone is the best out of everything else. So him being a 4/5, they gave him the additional 2. I'm happy. Love this change for Juggernaut.
I know how badly we needed this. Like, Juggernaut going to 4/5 was one of the most requested changes by a mile.
Right.
By a variety of different, community members, creators. So many of us wanted this change. And my only concern about 4/5 Juggernaut is you have 2 incredibly similar cost and power and effect cards to also have to consider with it. You have Stegron, who's at 4/7, knocking something out of a lane only in one direction, though. And then you also have got Cannonball, who's now a 5/6. So that's why I think Cannonball needs to have Mercury, because that combo justifies it with the Destroy. Otherwise, you almost always play Juggernaut instead of Cannonball, because it's a 4/5. And that was one of the reasons that this whole package was so cohesive and worked so well, was because you had this 3-cost variation to move something, and you had a 5/8 that was destroying, and then bringing it back with a Fenrir. It's why the whole package was just absolutely dominant and needed to be adjusted. But 4/5 Juggernaut, I think, actually is going to give rise to 4/7 Stegron as being a better option moving forward. Because Juggernaut as 4/5 and actually costing 4 specifically, I think that's a caveat to this too. I'm not talking about a Zabu'd version. I'm not talking about a surged version.
Yeah. I'm with
4/5 Juggernaut is not worth playing on turn 6 with a 2-cost card, because it's not strong enough in the decks that you would want to play it in. It's not strong enough with some kind of 2-cost to win. The only deck that might be able to regularly support it in that sense is probably going to be Ronin. Because it's a drop down Ronin on 5 into Juggernaut to clear a lane plus Maximus, because then you've got 6 power to drop. You're not playing this in discard where you can play a massive, Morbius down on the lane. It's the decks that want Juggernaut on the final turn are different than the decks that want Juggernaut early. Juggernaut, for example, had a great synergy on turn 3, for example, with Iron Patriot. I think that's the direction that we move to with 4/5 Juggernaut. It now becomes a Zabu card, because you want to try to get it reduced for that shenanigan, and you got to work harder to get that shenanigan to happen. But I was testing Juggernaut in 4/5, and honestly, I think that when you got it to Zabu, it felt great. But very often I was looking at my other combinations to make some shenanigans happen, and I think that we're going to have to get used to 4/5 Juggernaut. People are going to try it. It's going to tank its win rate for the next week. And then people will realize, oh, you have to completely change your psychology about this card entirely to figure out how to deck build around it. And then also find your other win conditions. Like, I put it into a Mole Man deck right away, because it was something that I didn't mind having converted into a 1/4 rock for Mole Man, because I ran Zabu and Mole Man, and then I threw in the package of Hood and Victoria Hand and Misery. So we had a whole bunch of these pop-up things. Like, that worked. That absolutely worked for me. But I just don't think that 4/5 Juggernaut is gonna want to be a turn 6 play anymore. Now people are gonna want to use it as a turn 4 or turn 5 play. And we haven't used it like that as its primary purpose ever. It's been an option that you run it, but you're ideally setting yourself up for a turn 6 Juggernaut. And I just don't think that this card does that anymore. Nowhere near the same.
I agree on that part. What I don't agree with is the Stegron is better. I love Stegron, trust me, but no way. I think Juggernaut's ability to move all those cards that are played in a certain lane is still better than moving one card to the right. So to me, I think Juggernaut's ability trumps Stegron 100%. But I do agree we have to play Juggernaut earlier than turn 6 now, because you're right. Unless it's in a what's his name deck, a Ronin deck. But what's the other 2-cost card that you want to play down with it? So I'm with you on that. On to the next card. This card for sure, I was wondering why it even had 7 power to begin with. It going to 4/5 just makes sense. It did not need, it could have went to 4/6 too, not bad. It did not need to be 4/7. 4/4 even, I would have been fine with that as well. So fantastic card, gets a nerf. The whole end of turn cards now have things that can destroy it, stop it, and their power reduction really does help deter people from just running that what used to be an OP end of turn list. So I'm happy about fantastic card. Guess fantastic card change all right with you?
I mean, this was needed to say that. I mean, it was a 4/7 that was giving a bunch of +2s. Like, really? Like, even when this released, it was originally data mined at a 4/6. And then the week before they went live with it, they announced that they were releasing it at 4/7. And we're like, seriously? You're buffing this? Like, how? What?
Yeah.
Absolutely cracked decision. And yeah. I think we're on the same page here. It was one of the only times, I'm going to get so much shit for this take. It was one of the only times that one of the biggest reasoners in the community, it was one of the
asshole, but okay.
Yeah, well, that too. But one of the biggest reasoners in the community trying to justify and explain from a business standpoint a lot of the decisions that happen for mobile games, Second Dinner, Marvel Snap, etc. It was one of the only times I honestly felt that they buffed Fantasticar for financial gain, because it was the first season that they did that with the super premium season pass extra card. And it was just such a cracked card, yet alone, once you got Invisible Woman first steps with it, it was just so stupid.
Right.
And it went from 4/6 to 4/7. And we're like, this is just fucking wild, in my opinion. And you saw how dominant it was. And even when they reduced down a bunch of the stuff for the end of turn deck, it's still keeping up. So now take out the big body, which was Fantasticar, drop it down to 4/5. Much more reasonable for what the card effect does. Because if it hits 1, the card value is 4/7. The downside is that it's activate. So it's still going to be ran in those decks. It's not going to be the dominant single lane body that you obviously would want it to be. And you're trying to compensate for Invisible Woman. Like, you're normally stacking that lane because that's your power lane, not your scaling lane, right? You've got your 3/5 Invisible Woman, you got your 4/7 and Fantasticar, maybe one other card in there, and that's your competitive, how you compete in that lane. Taking off 2 power off of that lane definitely hurts that deck. And as much as we needed it, I would have much preferred to see them make it a 3/3. I think that would have been a much more interesting card to work with.
Right.
And have it then, because it's a 3/3, give it only +1s. Because now you've got a lot more power a lot more time to integrate it. And you can continue that Athena synergy on turn 5 by also playing it too. So that would have been my approach on it, but I can get it.
Yeah, and I mean, we also think about all the first steps cards have numbers, right? From 1 though, I think. Yeah, 1? No, we have, well, no, we're wrong, because Mr. Fantastic just got nerfed, right? So he was the 2, she was the 3, we had the 4s. All right, don't worry about it. The Mad Thinker. I just got this card, so I'm now collection complete. Mad Thinker is now
Me too.
1/2. Yeah, finally got him. He's a 1/2. At the start of each turn, after drawing, get +2 power if your hand is full. So Mad Thinker, not a great card in my opinion. I know some people playing it, trying to make it good. It needed this buff, I guess. Guess? That's all I got to say. That's it. All right.
Go Mad Thinker. It's a card.
All right, let's go. Perfect. All right, Nightmare. One of the best cards, one of the most, listen, I was really hype on this card. And I'm still hype on this card because I was going to make my Infinite Galactus. And Nightmare is a fun card to play, especially with Pixie and Sauron. And -1 was a bit harsh because the card did not deliver as everyone thought it would, right? Everybody thought this card was going to be OP. Even you and I thought it was going to be the top card of that season.
Yep.
It definitely underdelivered. And second thing I saw that. And instead of making this card a 3-0, they decided to give it a 2 power. And now it's a 3-1. And you know what? I think it's well deserved. I like this. It doesn't do any harm if the cards just start popping off now. If we get a whole nightmare meta, it's not that bad. It's just a 3-1. I don't think it's going to happen anyway. But nonetheless, I'm happy for this change. Bravo, Nightmare. You get some love.
I mean,
how you feel?
I ran unironically was running a Nightmare deck for the hot location that just passed. And I ran a Pixie Mobius and Mobius Nightmare build. And it was really fun, like really, really fun, because either Nightmare was getting pulled by the hot location or Mobius was getting pulled by the hot location. So very often I ended up having a Pixie combo on turn 2 already down, and it was great. Or I had a Nightmare down on turn 1 and transforming my 6-cost Infinite into, like, you know, Doomonaut, you know, so taking out some Doombots in the process. So, I mean, I was playing Nightmare at 3-1, and I think the -1 is just scary to people, even though it's not really hurting what the deck does, in my opinion, because you play it with big cards, so you're compensating for it all the time. But now, I mean, more incentive to play it, because it is one of the more fun cards to play, in my opinion.
Totally agree. All right, awesome. And then we got Silver Surfer First Steps, which this card nobody really liked. Nobody really cared about it. It didn't get that much love, but nonetheless, it now got some love. It went from a 3-4 to a 3-5. What does it do? What does it do? I know some of you don't know. End of turn, if you're winning this location with an on reveal card, copy its text. So, I mean, I'm happy for it. It deserved it. It definitely underdelivered, just like Nightmare did. It being a 3-5, I guess now if it copies Black Panther, it goes to a 3-10 instead of a 3-8. So you know what? Bravo. Happy for Silver Surfer First Steps getting some love. So there it is. I'm happy about it. Guys, how you feel about Silver Surfer First Steps?
I think we need to experiment more with this card. I was playing a list earlier with in that Destroy Surfer list. One of the synergies I don't think we've explored enough is Surge. And now with Surge getting a nerf down to 2-1, following it up with Silver Surfer First Steps to get double surging happening, yet alone if you could play both Surge cards down at the same time, and then the next card has -2 and +2 on it, like, there are some things that we should be really looking at with Silver Surfer. I said this when the card came out. Everyone's going to play this card wrong, which is they want to play it on the final turn to copy and on reveal. And that's not how you play this card. The card is you want it down on turn 3. And then you build into either an on reveal that was a 2-cost or a 1-cost, or you build into that effect later with, you know, play another on reveal on that lane exclusively, like play ongoings into it and then play an on reveal later on. Like you put Darkhawk on top of that card, followed by Korg on the final turn, win the lane, Korg goes off a second time. You know, like that's the kind of stuff you need to be doing with this card. And the body on it to help with a lot of these cards that have recently been coming out, which are about winning a lane early on as like a little mini challenge throughout the game. An extra point of power on a 3-cost card is a big deal. So this can help you in that mini game very much so. I'm a big fan of what this card wants to do. I honestly think we just haven't taken the time to truly invest into this card strategically because of everything that surrounds the Super Premium Season Pass. And a lot of people who typically would want to experiment with these cards aren't, mostly out of, you know, anger for the Super Premium Season Pass pricing situation. But so they don't even try the card properly because people get mad when the card gets played. There are ways to still play the card. Like, I think we just have to take our time with it and really dive into it better.
All right. That's fair. We'll see what happens. And then we have American Chavez. I said it that way because I was around a time, ladies and gentlemen, back in my Snap day, when Chavez was a 6'10". Then she was a 6'9". And she guaranteed to come into your hand. Okay. She guaranteed to show up in your hand.
Jesus fucking, I wasn't going to let that one slide. My God, I'd rather you touch cards, not just, jeez. Oh my God, man.
She guaranteed to show up in your hand on the last turn. There was a discard deck that Chavez loved to death. Chavez was just such a great card back in her day. She became a 1/2, and she gave the top card in your deck +2 power. Now she gives +3, ladies and gentlemen. And yes, I'm going to quote all the wonderful people who left messages under my tweet today. The bots got a buff. That's right, because most of the bots play with Chavez, and now they get a additional +3 power on their next card.
Yeah.
No, I'm happy for the change. Her in the Surfer decks that I used to play just makes sense now, right? Because she hits the Brood, if she hits Sebastian Shaw, right? She hits Surfer. If she hits any of those cards, giving +3 now is great. So I'm happy for the change. She needed it. I just think it is what it is at this point. I'm happy. Great change. Great buff. Guess, how do you feel about Chavez?
You remember when Silver Sable was a 1/1 that would steal 2 power from your opponent's top card, and then it went to being a 1/3? Yeah. And people were like, oh my God, this is one of the top 2 1-cost cards in the game. Why? Because the total value on it is a 1/5.
Right.
Hydra Bob, when he released as a 1/5, released as a 1/4, then was buffed to a 1/5. When he was a 1/5, people realized, oh my God, 1/5, amazing value. This is America Chavez with you having control over the 1/5, because you can decide to put it in the same lane or a different lane. And I think that this may have just jumped to being one of the best 1-cost cards in the game again, because it's a 1/5. It's easy. That's 1/5. Fair. You play it down the second you get it every single time. This is a card you're going to see a lot more, because there's a huge difference between 1/4 and 1/5. And we've seen the strength of 1/4. And I think a lot of people who play the game for a long time were burned by the America Chavez being a 1/2 that gave +2. We're like, all right, great, it's a 1/4 kind of. Now it's a 1/5, and depending on what you're hitting ahead of time, I mean, it could be upwards of like 1/9 if it hits a Brood. You know what I mean? Like, there's some cool things that can happen from this.
Yes,
so
agreed. We
need to play more America Chavez, y'all.
Agreed. American Chavez a Grandmaster, right? Buff her up again.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be some fun stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Then we go on to Ghost Spider, final card of the wonderful OTAs, and I'm happy to see Ghost Rider get some love. Sorry, Ghost Spider. Because you really had to think about, are you going to play Aranya? Are you going to play Ghost Spider? Most times you're like, you know what, go with Aranya, because Aranya gives that additional power and then moves the card. So Ghost Spider normally got cut from some of the decks, but now her being a 1/3, that additional power really helps. I'm happy to see Ghost Spider get some love. I think Move has been getting a lot of love these days, and you know what? I'm happy for it. 1/3, Ghost Spider, great job. Guess?
For the exact same reason I talked about Fantasticar and changes that were getting prepared for this whole event of new cards releasing, I think that that's why Ghost Spider got a love as well. I think that Ghost Spider got a love as a indirect way to support the Super Premium Season Pass and the cards of next season, which we're going to talk about.
Okay, we'll talk about. Okay, perfect.
I don't think Ghost Spider needed to become a 1/3 by any means. There is no reason for that to happen. Like, legitimately, there was no reason for Ghost Spider to become a 1/3. 1/3 with no downside. Literally no downside. This is a final turn catch-all. Like, just in the same way that you play Heimdall, right? You play Heimdall with the idea of moving all of that power around. On turn 6, for a 1/3 value, which is a very big difference than 1/2, to move that turn 5 card to make a surprise play on turn 6 now. That's really big. So keep an eye on this card in more than just move decks. but move decks are gonna telling you next week. Oh, the amount of move I will be playing. I'm aiming to take move to infinite. That is my goal.
I can't wait to hear about these new cards next week because all I know about is the main card. So now you're gonna let us know about the other cards shortly, but we're gonna wrap up the OTAs with great job. I think it was great. The cards that need to get nerfed got nerfed. The cards that need to love got love. And yeah, the meta always changing. Definitely love that about Marvel Snap. Now, let's go on to the card that came out this week. What's going on here? Jeez Louise. Okay. The card that came out this week was no other than the Cosmic Ghost Rider. Now, Cosmic Ghost Rider is a 5/7. On reveal, remove the text from the front row enemy cards here. I had a blast with this card. I don't know. We didn't get to review. We didn't get to preview this card. No, we didn't get a chance to preview it. This card is definitely a double platinum. I really enjoy shutting off the Draculas. I enjoy shutting off the end of turn cards. And I enjoy the wonderful power it comes with it. This with the Fallen One and Shuri in a deck, some of the best things ever. I've done foolishness where I Shuri the Fallen One and then Zola the Cosmic Ghost Rider, like on the last turn. Like it's the best thing on the planet, guys. I really enjoy this card, and I did not expect to enjoy it as much as I do. I'm happy. We have a nice 5-cost tech card that really does some damage. And again, I feel for the people who like to put their main cards in the front because, man, it felt good turning off Ghost Rider. It felt good turning off the Fenris Wolves. It felt good turning off the Morbius. It is such a great card. Double platinum all the way for me. Guess your take, buddy.
I'm gonna say question mark as my rating because I have no idea what I want to call this card. Like coming into this podcast, I was literally trying to think, what am I going to rate Cosmic Ghost Rider? And even after reviewing it, even after playing it further, testing it, variety of different builds and decks, this is a card that just had its Fenris Wolf target removed. This is a card that wants end of turn decks to be present, and then they just nerfed Fantasticar. This is a card that wanted to have the old Mr. Fantastic first steps in the front line and doesn't anymore. Like this is a card that had more problems over the last 2 months that it would have been ready to handle. And even with it within the contents of the OTA that dropped today, some of the problems that were meant for Cosmic Ghost Rider no longer exist for Cosmic Ghost Rider just organically. So I don't know what the proper home is for this card. I don't think it's a Shuri deck. I think it's just which do you need depending on the meta, this or Legion? Like that's the only way I can describe this card is do you need a Sandman? Do you need a Legion? Or do you need a Cosmic Ghost Rider? What are you going up against a lot right now? Pick one. And that's your 5-cost tech card. The way that we used to look at Vision is the way we look at something like a Cosmic Ghost Rider. And I don't know what to give it as a rating. I'm going to tell people to get it because it's a piece to have in your arsenal. But I legitimately don't know what to rate it because it's one of the more swingy cards that is very meta dependent or hot location dependent. So I don't know. Like I want it to be a better. If it was a 5/8, it's an auto include. At a 5/7, you have to debate if you include it.
Guess that's tough because I really believe this card is a great card. I really believe you can put it in any card list you want, and it's a great tech card because those frontline cards, besides the ones you mentioned, you still forgot we have cards like Sam Wilson, the Shield, Captain Carter, right? What's this card called? Deadpool, right? We try to put Deadpool Agony, right? You have these cards that are normally in the front, and I think Cosmic Ghost Rider still has some good value despite the the changes to the cards you just mentioned, which is the end of turn cards. So I don't know,
Yeah.
man. I think the card. I get what you're saying about which one do we play, this or Legion, because you're right. They both fall in the same boat. But I definitely do think this card has a lot of value, doing what it does. Right, turning off that front row is impressive, and you are playing those good cards nice and early in those first couple of rounds. It being a 5 cost card makes it a little bit difficult because you would like to do this a little bit earlier, but maybe in a ramp card, maybe in a ramp deck this is good at. But nonetheless, I think this is a great card and all around, and I'll definitely give it a double platinum. And as you mentioned before, you're gonna tell people to get it. Yeah, I think you guys should definitely pick up this card. It is phenomenal. All right, now we didn't get to rate the Fallen one, and I must say I'm gonna give the Fallen one just real quickly. I'll give it a double gold. I like the card for what it does, but to try to buff it just to get the additional power is interesting. I mean, additional energy is interesting, right? Because you have to walk with these 2 cards, Shuri and of course Symbiote Spider-Man, just to get value out of the wonderful Fallen one. So we did talk about it. We did give a preview, but my review is definitely a double goal. I was successful with it. It got me to Infinite, rocking this with, of course, Galactus and Hobgoblin on the final turn, or Panther Zola on the final turn. So Fallen one did his job, got me to Infinite, but I still think this card, Fallen one, is definitely a double goal. How do you feel about the Fallen one?
I find it interesting that we're both talking about Fallen One in this like mediocre status, yet the Fallen One decks are what both got us to Infinite this season. You know what I mean? Because yes. I built an ongoing deck with this, with Captain Carter, Moonstone, Fallen One, which I truly still believe is one of the better synergies for Fallen One in general, because it's more consistent. And it's a good card, but I still want it to be a 5/6. I think it needs to justify itself as a little bit of a better body that has a benefit for playing it, which is just one more energy organically.
Yes. I like that take. That's a 10 out of 10 take you just said right there. That is perfect.
Yeah.
5/6, giving you 7 power on the final turn. So if you just play this without having to buff it, it definitely need that. I totally agree with you. Good call on that call.
Yeah.
So we definitely give a double gold, right? we end it with
it's a double gold, but it's a double gold, but don't be scared of it.
Yeah, facts. All right. So now I'm just gonna let you start with the new season cards that are coming up. Well, first we're gonna talk about the Vision. That I could talk about. Then we could dive into the rest of the cards. All right. So we're kicking things off with the one and only. Oh, it won't let me do it that way. Don't worry about it, guys. This is why we do what we do.
This is what happens when you do a live recording. It's like, oh, everything's going to run smoothly, right? No, I can tell you, anybody who did casting for the Golden Gauntlet can tell you shit goes wrong in the middle of production. Like, it's just
exactly
all the time.
So here we go, guys. We have Viv Vision. Yeah, it always happens, right? We have Viv Vision.
Every time.
This is the wonderful season pass card that's coming up for September, the back to school. And that is at the start of each turn, give all your cards in your hand plus 1 power if you're winning here. Otherwise, move this to another location. So we're definitely in the realm or in the era of Yu-Gi-Oh! Snap cards, where cards have multiple things, and if this, then that. And we are here with Viv Vision. Now, I'm excited about this because of the fact that if you're winning the lane on turn 3, and back to some of those cards you mentioned earlier, those big 2-cost cards or the 1-cost card or American Chavez the card, and this drops down. If you're winning that lane on turn 3, ladies and gentlemen, your hand, all those cards, the additional plus 1 power, that's huge. That is huge. Yeah, a preview score for this, as Premium Pass should be, is definitely in the double platinum range. Because even if you're not winning that lane, move this to another location. You move it. It doesn't move randomly. It doesn't go by itself to another location. You move it to another location. So now if you want to do the move deck synergies, like Guest mentioned, trying to take move to infinite, this is a great way to say, you know what? I can't win the lane. I'm going to move it so I can play my 1/6 Miles Morales next turn. You know what I mean? Like, this is the cool things that it can do. It's not a random move. It says move this to another location. So is it going to randomly move? No, I think you move it. But Guess I'm going to let you say your piece on it.
Based on my understanding of the card, move this to another location is the exact same verbiage as Silk. They're even talking about it here in the chat. I believe it is random.
Okay.
Because the condition caused it to move to another. Not you can move this card, which is what it says, move this card one time, which is what it says for Nightcrawler and for Nocturne, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it will move to a random one of the other two locations if you are losing that lane. Yeah, Spider-Man, et cetera. Also, to note with the card, you can even see it here on SnapFan, and I had this confirmed based on the data mines and the information we know, that it is going to be a 3-2. You see it in the stats down below versus the card image, which says 3-3 right now. It should release as a 3-2. So that makes it a lot harder to win on the very first time. I am treating this card the same way as you treat Terrax. You build out your turn 1 and turn 2 as spread the power around, and then make your decision of where you need to go. I think that Vivision ends up being incredibly useful because if you can win the lane where Vivision is, it's just stupid good. Like, it's just stupid good to be able to do that. And there's a lot of ways to buff this. Like, we just got Agony to 1-3. Play that with Vivision to help soup up this card. You have Penny Parker as a way to put that down on 2, which is a 2 body, and then you go ahead and leave the SPDR in your hand. Play the Vivision, and then you've got the choice of being able to move it via effect or move it via the SPDR. There's a lot of things that we can do with this card, and the only catch with this card that you need to be aware of is that if you get your hand to buff twice, which is like a built-in Nakia, right? You're essentially is what you're doing. All the cards in your hand are getting +1 power.
+1.
So this is a better Nakia in many ways because you can get it to happen multiple times. So Mad Thinker is going to get volume here.
Well, hold on, wait. What do you mean you get to do it multiple times?
At the start of each turn.
Yeah. Wow.
Each turn. So if you keep feeding into the Vivision lane, 3 straight turns, your cards in your hand can get upwards of +3. And you want cards in your hand. So you look at the card generator cards. You're going to look at cards like Kahori are going to want to be in your hand. Mad Thinker are going to want to be in your hand. You're going to want to then have the multiple generators. No, not even Galactus First Steps, but like I'm talking like Agent Coulson.
To fill your hand up.
To fill your hand up. Mirage, these Victoria hand style decks are going to be incredibly good with Vivision because they want to have more cards in there. And I think that this ends up being a stellar season pass. I think there's a reason that they went from 3-3 to 3-2, which is that it was just straight up incredibly powerful. So I'm expecting this to be one of the best cards of the month. Probably going to end up being a diamond.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. I gave it double platinum, but geez, each turn, ladies and gentlemen, this is crazy. This is going to be awesome. I'm pumped. The more energy in your hand, the better. Let's go. Yeah, very, very good card indeed. All right, so guess the other cards coming out this season. Let's go ahead and dive into shall we?
Let's first go to Sparky, please. Yeah, let's go to Sparky.
Sparky. Good dog.
Okay.
Is it now the newest good dog? Let's hear it.
This Sparky card is why I think they buffed Ghost Spider. Sparky is the super premium season pass card, and it's releasing as a Series 5, and that's all I'm going to say about it right now. But let's talk about the card effect. The card effect is it's a 2/1, okay? The 2/1 activate. Give your card that last moved +3 power and move it back to its previous location. What? Like, this is a total of a 2/4. That's part 1. Part 2, it has targeted movement. So you're adding +3 power, which is 0.3, onto that card. So use, for example, your Human Torch that just got changed to 3/3.
Which it needed.
Sparky goes down. It did. But Sparky goes down on turn 2. You play down the Human Torch on turn 3. Turn 4, you activate. Sorry, turn 4, you play Ghost Spider.
Yeah.
You play Ghost Spider. You're now 1/3 Ghost Spider. Move the Human Torch over. It's now a 3/6. You activate Sparky. It sees the Human Torch at 3/6, gives it +3 power. It goes to 3/9, moves it back to the location that it was just in, and now it's a 3/18 by turn 4. That is a better ratio of number of cards to get Human Torch up to that level of power than Human Torch was previously.
This is a problem. We can't just Killmonger him anymore.
No.
And with the movement, you'll be worried where to play the Shang-Chi. Then you have the final. This is going to be a great time for move. You're absolutely right. Sparky's about to be the new good dog. I love this. This is great. This is phenomenal. I really do enjoy it. This is great. Big stuff here.
It is a huge win in another situation too, which is that it actually does give viability to Hercules, which is a good body on the board because it's a 3/5. So you're looking at Sparky on turn 1, Hercules, Sparky on turn 2, Hercules on turn 3 in the same lane. Then you look to build cards in that lane also. And then Sparky knocks the card back into the lane where Sparky was, and Hercules kicks it back out because it's a targeted movement.
Yeah, move. Wow.
So imagine your, like, Vulture just became a 1/3, right? So even just by playing Vulture into the lane with Sparky and Hercules, kick that out with your Ghost Spider. Okay, it goes from 1/3 to 1/6. Sparky moves it back, gives it another 3 power. That brings it to 1/9. And Hercules kicks it out one more time. That brings it to 1/12. Plus 3 more on that, which is 1/15. Like, move scaling because of Sparky and the ability to specifically know where the card is going to move to retroactively is huge. This is an incredibly strong card. And if you enjoy any kind of minor move package, yet alone a full move deck, even the small move packages, you got to be ready to see what this card is going to do, because it's going to be wild to watch.
Yeah, because I'm back to your Human Torch idea, and it's like you could then play Frigga on turn 5, and on turn 6 you have yourself another 3/18 Human Torch. That you can play
Ghost Spider.
Oh yes, that's right. Frigga copies Ghost Spider. Yes.
But you could set up into it. You could set up into it though by doing on turn 4 Iron Fist into it.
Yes.
So
there you go.
Switch it up a little bit, but there are a lot of cool things you could do here.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sparky move. It's about to be huge come next season. All right, so Sparky and Vivision both come out. They will both be part of the premium and super premium pass. So I know some people are very hesitant to pick up the super premium pass. You might want to think about it this season, because that Sparky card, especially if you like move, is going to be something special. All right, then we have Moira X. Moira X. I love Moira. Wasn't she Professor X's
Moira
lady?
Moira Moira X. It's Moira X. Sorry, we grew up on Long Island. It's Moira X.
Yes.
Yeah.
There you go. You're right. All right. So Moira. When this is destroyed, get a copy of your opening hand. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you go back to your wonderful pump your hand full of goodness. So Mora gets destroyed and wow, she is that location that does that for you right now. I forgot the name of the location. And once you fill it up, you get your opening hand. This is not bad. At a 1/2, easy to be destroyed, especially with cards like Killmonger and anything else that want to destroy this 1/2 card. I'm pumped. I'm excited. This is pretty good. There's a lot of synergies with especially destroy and even things like discard decks, right? Guess how do you feel about this card?
I think this card is going to open up a new sub package, a new hybrid type of deck all by itself, because if you dissect the two strengths of what this card wants to do, you have the card wanting to ramp up your hand, and you have the card wanting to be destroyed. Now, if you look on the destroy element and you play this in a destroy deck, the best thing that this deck does is give you more destroy activators. You can get a second Carnage, a second Venom, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I really think that that's incredibly strong to do. You know, the Nimrod decks, for example, are going to love her. She's like an auto include in most Nimrod decks. Yep. On the other end of it, though, getting a copy of your opening hand, so you're looking at your Dino builds, your Kahori builds, your Mad Thinker builds, your Moira. Wait a minute, Moira and Vivision. Oh my God. Like, it's just, there's so many things that you want to do when you have a full hand or a near full hand, and a simple destroy to enable that, to double that, all of that other value that she'll bring. The value will not come out of Moira being a 1/2. It will be, she is a full-on sacrifice for whatever your master plan is towards the end of the game. So I think she's going to be really fun to deck build with, and is going to open up new archetypes, because it's forcing a hybrid, and cards that do that should be embraced. I really like the idea of this card. It's going to be a fun one to build with.
Agreed. Oh my goodness, we got some good cards coming our way, ladies and gentlemen. And we still got more to go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards.
Yep.
What is going on, Marvel Snap? All right, on to the next one. Of course, we have the one and only Omega Sentinel. Now, Omega Sentinels activate, afflict the highest power enemy card with -7. So it doesn't say here. So
correct.
That means not in this location. It just means what is the highest enemy card on the field? Smash it with -7. Another wonderful affliction card, and this is pretty good. 4/3, -7. If you do the math, what's that? 410 on the board. I like this card. Like it a lot. Think it's pretty good. Can't wait to see what it does. Can't wait to put it in a wonderful affliction deck, or just have it as another card to help you win that lane. Guess, how do you feel about the Omega Sentinel?
This is good. Just plain and simple. This is really, look, and as we've learned, you know, any card that gets you 410, yeah, that's going to be good. But by the time we get to the end of the season, this card is going to be busted. With when Jocasta comes out, yeah, you're definitely going to want to have this card in your arsenal.
We'll find
yeah.
out.
Jocasta activates your activates a second time without using the activate up. Yeah.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
So exactly. So with that in mind, yes, this is doing two different things. One, it's going to be, of course, it's going to be great for affliction. Affliction decks want this kind of stuff. It's an option if you don't have Malekith, or if you're not going to play the Laufey line, etc. This is a good option. At the same time, this is just a good 4-drop to include, because you hold it and activate typically on the final turn, unless if you're trying to target ahead of time to get a very specific card at that moment. This is really strong to help you win a separate lane. Like, Cerebro 3 even wants this card, like, because it's giving you 13, 16 plus power in total. Like, yeah, this is a very, 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 very good card. And
Agreed.
Expect to see it in a lot of different builds.
I love it. It's going to be a great, great card. All right. Guys, I'm seeing this cards the face same time you guys are seeing the cards. Trust me, I'm as shocked as you guys are. All right, on
Mhm.
to Awesome Andy. Love the name.
Woohoo.
Awesome Andy is a 2/1 activate. A lot of activate cards this season. Give one of your cards at each other location +2 power. So Awesome Andy has somewhat similar to what the wonderful Herbie abilities, one of Herbie abilities were. I don't know if
Kind
it was
of,
+2,
yeah.
but give the other locations plus something. Nonetheless, Awesome Andy +2 power. One of your
This
cards, not
is
all, just one. Okay.
it's
Yeah,
Diet
it's okay.
Namora.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah. There
it's
you go. Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, it doesn't have to have a single card in one location. It just goes, it's somewhere in between Namora and Toxie and
Yeah.
like original Mr. Fantastic. Like it's somewhere in between all of
Right.
those. I would have much preferred this as a non-reveal, but
Yeah.
again, for the same reasons, I think this whole season is focused towards Jocasta, and that's why there's so many activate cards in here. But this is
Right.
2/5. Okay, great, but I can get 2/5 spread into multiple lanes in other ways also. So I don't know if this is a card that we need at
Right.
2/1. Like I would have
Right.
much preferred this as a 2/2, but
Yeah. Some additional
I
power.
don't know. Yeah, I don't
Hey,
know.
listen. All
Eh,
these cheap activate cards. You know who's gonna love this? Cosmic Ghost Rider. He's
yep.
gonna love these cheap activate cards. Wow. All right. So I think that rounds up the 5 cards coming out this next week.
Yeah.
Yeah. One,
Mm-hmm.
two, three, four, five. All right. So out of the cards that we see coming out next week, because these two will be in the snap
Snap
packs,
packs.
Viv Vision and Sparky, the season pass and the super premium pass cards, are the best of the bunch, as they should be. Sparky is not better than Viv Vision. Viv Vision is better than Sparky in my eyes.
Yeah.
So I think it all makes sense what we have going on here. Wow. Next season, back to school. Yeah, this looks like it's gonna be a fun season. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not gonna hold you guys. I think this is going to be a fun season next season.
Yeah.
And speaking of comparison of seasons, let's talk about the current season, the one that we're in right now. The
Okay.
August cards. So we've had Redshift, Stardust, Terrax, Galactus First Steps, Silver Surfer First Steps, Frankie Ray, The Fallen One, Fire Lord, Airwalker, and Cosmic Ghost Rider.
Mm-hmm.
Which of these cards do you feel deserve the diamond for the season? Or if it's not the diamond, because I don't know if they need that card may need that type of love. What's the best card this season?
Yeah, I don't know. The best card.
Oh
Okay, so the
Lord.
best card this season,
Yeah.
if you're looking at overall usage, it's going to be Galactus First Steps.
All right.
I'd say probably Cosmic Ghost Rider to be second
Okay.
for overall usage. For niche, like specific, what are you using this in your deck in? Like, which deck are you using this in, and how much does it help that deck?
Right.
Honestly, it's probably Redshift. I think Redshift brought an incredible amount of consistency to Discard and Agatha,
Yeah.
and the Black Knight package that made that deck skyrocket in competitiveness all by itself. I think that Terrax is still slept on. I think that it is still an incredibly good card, and you should be using it more in and out of Darkhawk builds. And Stardust is probably next in consideration for like the third place of the overall play of if you had to pick 3 cards you needed to get, I'd say Galactus First Steps number 1, Cosmic Ghost Rider number 2, Stardust number 3. Because Stardust is just a card that you should have in your arsenal, depending on the meta, for the exact same reason you want Cosmic Ghost Rider.
Right. Great choice. Yeah, I was going to say Stardust, I think, got my pick for the best card this season.
Wow.
Yeah. I slept on this card so hard, like snort on this card. Like, I don't
Yeah.
care. I'm not doing this one or two things. Who gives a crap about start? Not to take in consideration, it stops Zola cards. It stops Hella cards. It stops all types of anything you're trying to bring on the field that wasn't played there. So for me, I think Stardust is so underrated, and Stardust deserves, I feel, to be in consideration as the best card this season. Galactus First Steps did its job as a season pass card. Okay.
Yep.
Wasn't the greatest when it came out. We all felt the same way. Redshift did a great job, but Redshift is great in just that one type of deck, right? The Agatha or the discard build, right?
Right.
Terex, again, I agree. Very slept on. Good in Darkhawk, but I think he is good in other decks as well. Don't care about Silver Surfer, but like you said, we probably playing it wrong. I was big on Frankie Ray until I actually understood it was only one time you play the 6 cost cards. So Frankie Ray went down to the very bottom of the pile. Fallen One was fun. As you agree, we both used it to go to infinite, but it's a mid card, 5/6. I mean, yeah, 5/6 make this card 10 times better. Firelord was fun, had a great deck with it. Shout out to Krito, who gave me that card list. Awesome. Airwalker, we didn't get to play with the card because, just got it from High Voltage. And I like Cosmic Ghost Rider a lot. So, yeah, for me, Stardust, Cosmic Ghost Rider, and then Galactus First Steps. And that will be my top 3. All right, so now, guess your topic is now. What would you like to talk about as I stop sharing the screen?
All right. So what I told you I want to talk about is not what I want to talk about.
That's fair.
What I want to talk about, and I'm doing this for you because I do think that it is a legitimate conversation after looking at the whole value of the season. Like we just talked about this season's cards. And, the fact that I feel that Galactus First Steps was the best card of the season, and many of the decks that I played it in were very good because just like Gore, it's that, that single body that's you can play it,
Right.
kind of like the Magneto mindset. You play it at any place.
Right.
I'm going to take this out over here and officially wave my white flag.
Yes. I know what you're going to say, and I agree. Yes. I'll let you say
I
it,
think
please.
I'm going to go with you on this one. And I'm going to say I do agree with you now after watching the evolution of Galactus First Steps that I think a 624 Infinite is justified.
Bang. Totally agree with you. Continue.
Specifically because Galactus First Steps exists. I think that as long as Galactus First Steps stays as a 612, giving the +2s, it is almost always a better option than Infinite. And given the restriction of Infinite, unless if you're playing a deck that is meant to ramp it out before turn 6, you're playing a Ghost Rider build, for example, you're playing, anything that's going to pull out of the deck directly, any of those kind of builds, sure, Infinite's going to be more consistent. But more often than not, decks that play Infinite want to save that 20 power card for the final turn, whether it was Pixied, whether it's War Machined, whether it's, actually just played outright by skipping turn 5, Nightmare. You're always wanting to hold it for the final turn. And it needs to be a lane winner. And now there are better options more often than not. And I can't believe that I finally agree with you that Infinite has been power crept at 620. And that's weird.
It took you so long. I don't know it took you so long. I mean, we've had Red Hulk. We've had all these other cards that was just...
Red Hulk got nerfed.
20. I know, but come on. Prior to him being nerfed, we have so many cards that got up to 20 without having any restrictions, which blew my mind. Yes. No, you're right. I was going to say your one point. Galactus First Steps, me playing with that card as well, always got it to 622. Like, what kind of madness is that? Like, it always got to that number because even after you play it, it's after the end of the game, it's still got the additional +2 power, which is like, That is bananas. You're absolutely right. I'd rather play that over Infinite now, which sucks. But yes, I agree. Continue. Sorry.
I
just had to.
I am gonna re-emphasize it though, because you mentioned it with Red Hulk. Red Hulk got nerfed, right? Because it was too much power too often. Right. And this is a season pass, which is very strong. So it is very consistent that these types of cards very often end up getting nerfed. So I want to really make sure you understand my point of view, though, again, which is that as long as Galactus First Step stays like this, Infinite deserves to get buffed. Because every time they push the limit with these cards, Gore pushed the limit, Red Hulk pushed the limit, like they're starting to really want to push towards these super high power 6 drops. We know they're pushing towards the 5 drops right now, even more so. They need to either take a little bit off of Galactus First Steps and maybe some other 6s, or give Infinite the 624.
You know what? I like that, and I think we can wait until 1024, which is my birthday, to give Infinite that buff.
Yeah.
And it's on the 24th, and you pick that number. I think that would just be perfect. So, second dinner, I know you have your employee of the month right there. Make sure he lets you guys know. Hold the Infinite buff until 1024. All right? That'd be fantastic. All right. You know, I guess you're right. As long as you're right, because if he gets a nerf, then it's a little bit different. Right now, we're in the same boat still. Infinite might still be a better decision to make. But seeing all these cards get love, like even Giganto and, you know, all these other cards that's getting
Destroyer did.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Because they need the power to keep up. I get it, Infinite's 20 power, but because of that restriction, I think that's why I always say he needs to get a buff, even if it was just 1 power at that point. But nonetheless, I agree. Let's see what happens. Let's see if anything goes crazy and they make that change. That'd be great. Like I said, October would be fantastic because now, all these other cards coming out this season, power's about to be crazy. But yeah, continue.
With that said, I do want to actually mention the other topic that I did tell you, which is just simply telling the community, the listeners here, the Marvel Snap community, by the time you hear this podcast, it will be launch day for the Golden Gauntlet World Championship Series qualifier number 2. It's focused towards the Americas. It will be happening on Saturday, September 6th. And I am very excited for this one from a production standpoint because I don't want to reveal all of the people involved yet, but I will simply say you're looking at 2 of the people that will be on that broadcast.
All right. I'm pumped, guys. It's going to be great. I mean, you guys did see us in the first one, so who knows what's going to happen on this one. But yes, Golden Gauntlet, Worlds Tour 2. I mean, listen, guys, get hyped, get pumped, get excited, get your decks ready. Bring that Cosmic Ghost Rider. Let's prove Guess wrong. Show Guess Cosmic Ghost Rider can go in any deck, and it will do what it needs to do. Because you know what? Last time we had somebody on here, and we mentioned the Golden Gauntlet. It was Gunny T, who didn't have faith in the card. And what you guys do, you guys showed up to the Golden Gauntlet, and you guys showed Gunny that card meant business, and it did. So for this one, let's put all the Guess concerns to bed. Bring that Cosmic Ghost Rider. Let him be the one that has to cast that match when Cosmic Ghost Rider is wrecking shop and he has to say the things he needs to say, and also follow up by saying, I'm sorry, guys. I really thought this card was just a niche card. This card is killing the Golden Gauntlet World Tours 2. Make sure you guys make that happen.
World Championship Series. God damn it.
World Tour, World Championship. You guys know what I meant, okay? I'm just too hype right now. I'm too excited.
We workshopped a bunch of names before we chose that one. That's why it's in his head. But, you know,
so
I digress.
There it is. So I 100%. All right. So we're going to go ahead and dive into the wonderful comments that we got from the podcast that we did previously. Previously on the last podcast, it was myself, Guess, and the one and only KM Best. We all had on no pants, and we were doing it in our underwears. Well, doing the podcast in our underwears, okay? All right, so let's go
Jesus Christ, it's twice, dude.
Let's go.
Dude, like, how many pauses are we going to have in this episode?
We need to put the
I can't wait to tell KM about this one.
And put the pause.
Can somebody
sign
clip
right
this
here.
and send it to KM right now, please? Jesus. What a teaser.
That's what it is. All right. So we have some awesome comments we're going to talk about, of course. People love the podcast. They had a blast. They enjoyed it. Perry said, thanks, guys, for the kind words. People showed up to Brookland. They enjoyed the tournament with Perry and Guess. That was definitely fun. They said that was honestly so good, keeping up with the energy in that place. They enjoyed seeing that happening with Perry and Guess. So that's pretty good as well. Then, of course, they could change Mercury where it stops your opponent from moving their cards, but does not stop you from moving the opponent's cards. That would remove the interaction completely with Cannonball. How do you feel about that?
I think it's too much text on a card, and that's the only restrictor there. Because you don't want it to be like, what's the word I'm looking for? You don't want it to be Jean Grey.
Right.
And you don't want it to be Colossus. It has to be something different. So it's tough to kind of figure out what that balance is. And once you figure out what that balance is of what the card needs to be, you come to realize that the card is absolutely fine.
All right. So I definitely want to talk about this one. Somebody said, fuck it said, Guest talks about multivitamins like the Percocets. And then Leach.
Between the comments in the live afterwards that I had, simultaneous with it during the actual recording, because we did it live here as well, like, I said I take one multivitamin a day, and when I need a burst of energy on a 24-hour style or overnight stream, I take one more. And y'all think I'm popping pills and I'm going to end up laying down next to Winehouse. Like, are you serious?
Yep.
Like, it is a multivitamin, fat, water-soluble mixture. It is not going to kill me. I don't do it weekly. I don't even do it monthly. You should be more concerned with how much coffee I normally drink.
That's what somebody who pops a lot of multivitamins would say. And then we have Leaching Silver says, I work in a pharmaceutical. It is a fat soluble vitamin. Be careful.
Yeah, that was the one I'm talking about right there.
Okay. Yeah, you did say that. Oh my gosh, that is hilarious. Yeah. Right, so then we also had people saying KM Best is the GOAT. Hope he comes back. Adrian said, would IWFS have been dead on arrival if they released her with ability that said end of turn abilities activate an additional time this turn? It's a huge nerf now, but seems like it would have given more room to build strong end of turn cards in the future. How do you feel about this?
I agree. I've heard this take from a couple of different places that Invisible Woman First Steps shouldn't say twice. It should just say an additional time. Because then what that allows is, for example, the Prodigy synergy, as it takes it on, it would just only allow Prodigy to proc once, not another 2 times. So you're changing the maximum ceiling from instead of 4 procs to being 3 procs. And that alone is much more manageable for what the ceiling of that deck typically wants to do. I think that if the deck does not drop in stats after this adjustment to Fantasticar in today's OTA, I 100% believe that's the next step.
Okay. All right.
See what I did there? First steps, next step.
First steps, next step. No,
there you go.
I got it. It didn't go up. And that's basically everybody was just happy. They enjoyed it. Somebody did mention not telling KM Best you were live is messed up. He even said something out of the beginning and nobody said anything. LOL. It's a good thing he didn't say anything bad. That's a good point. Expert B. Yeah, but no. KM is a great sport. He did understand It was a good time. We had a blast, and we're gonna back on again sometime. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nonetheless, that was awesome. We had a great time, great podcast, and we're looking
Yeah,
for
man.
more people on the podcast as well. But we are now pumped, excited. We're on the road to the Golden Gauntlet Tour. Right? We said tour, not
God
world
damn.
tour. Golden Gauntlet Championship. I got
Close enough. It's just, man,
We're on the
I picked you to cast this one.
WrestleMania.
Learn the fucking name. Golden Gauntlet World Championship Series, the WCS qualifier number 2.
Road to WrestleMania. Nonetheless, guys, we're pumped. We're excited. Make sure you guys go ahead and sign up. And again, show off your best card lists. See, I didn't say the D word. All right. Until next time, you guys enjoy. Have a blast. Keep collecting those variants. And always make sure you give guests a hard time. Peace.